Good Friday morning, everybody. Chris here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to the Cruise News. Now, I got several cruise news stories to kind of catch everybody up on, some things we've missed here over the last week, several stories just to kind of get everybody all caught up with the cruise news. And we're going to start off today with P&O Cruises and the Pacific Adventure sailing out of Australia, because this 14-day cruise, well, honestly, it's been an adventure for these cruise passengers, and they're definitely not getting the cruise that they originally booked. So the Pacific Adventure originally started out as a 13-night Kiwi adventure, was supposed to sail from Sydney, Australia, sail around all the way around New Zealand, stopping at different ports. However, before they even got to New Zealand, well, they were denied entry into any New Zealand waters over the biosecurity requirements from New Zealand. So New Zealand, they're really strict on their biosecurity. And the short version of it is cruise ships are required to have their hull cleaned before they go into New Zealand waters. They don't want any foreign biomatter brought into their territory, which means the cruise ships have to have their hull scraped and cleaned prior to going into New Zealand. This is not a new requirement. This isn't something that just popped up on the cruise lines. If you followed the cruise news last season in New Zealand, there were many cruise ships that were denied entry over not having their hull cleaned in a timely manner. Before the beginning of this season, New Zealand reminded them, hey, don't forget, we are not flexible on our biosecurity requirements, so make sure you get the hulls cleaned before you try to come into our waters. Now, according to P&O, they had an intention of getting the hull cleaned. They had it scheduled before they arrived into New Zealand. However, due to bad weather, they couldn't put divers in the water, which means they didn't clean the hull, which means they were denied entry. My question to that, of course, is if you knew this was coming, if you knew this was going to happen, why didn't you simply do this before the sailing even began? That's not what they did. Instead, they had to cancel all of their stops in New Zealand and instead switched over to Tasmania. Now they've had further itinerary changes because they were supposed to dock in Port Arthur, but bad weather has now prevented them from docking there yesterday. So not only did they miss all of their original port stops, they've now missed one due to weather. Now that's not something the cruise line obviously can't control. They can't control the weather, and for safety reasons, cruise ships can't dock. It just kind of adds on after you've already missed what you booked for, which was New Zealand, and now there's another port that you're wanting to go to, you can't because of weather. Now, originally, guests were given a 50% future cruise credit and $300 of onboard credit, to make up for the drastic itinerary changes. But not all the guests were happy about that either. They didn't want future cruise credit. They wanted a refund, and well, P&O has heard them, and they are taking that 50% future cruise credit and turning it into a cash refund after guest feedback. And according to P&O Cruises, they said, we understand that not all of them wish to cruise with us again. We apologize for the change in itinerary and thank our guests for the patience and understanding. So hopefully for the folks on board the Pacific Adventure, at least the remainder of their cruise goes smooth, because I think that this particular cruise, well, you know what? It's just had enough changes. Next up, we have Royal Caribbean. They have officially taken possession of Icon of the Seas, the world's largest cruise ship. And before this cruise ship, even gets going, and before this cruise ship's even had a chance to get out there and make a name for itself, they are already talking about the next Icon class cruise ship. Royal Caribbean has announced that Star of the Seas is going to be sailing from Port Canaveral during her inaugural season. It's going to be doing sailings to the Caribbean and to the Bahamas. And so far, they've not released the specific itineraries. They haven't even begun releasing the new features that are going to be on board Star of the Seas, but they are going to open up bookings for Star of the Seas coming December the 5th. So just here next week, if you are interested in Star of the Seas booking on one of the very first sailings for the newest Icon class ship, well, you're going to be able to do that in just a couple of days. Carnival Cruise Lines, they have announced and released images of what the new loyalty pins are going to look like for 2024. So if you're not familiar with Carnival Cruise Lines, once you reach gold status, diamond, and platinum status on board the ship through their loyalty program, you can go down to the Pixels Photo Studio once you're on board the ship, and you can get yourself a pin, put on your lanyard, put on your shirt. A lot of people collect them. Well, Carnival's released what they're going to look like for 2024. So you can take a look. You have the gold pin. Now the gold pin just simply says Carnival with the year on it. And the pins for diamond and platinum will also include the ship name. So this is what they're going to look like for 2024, and you can kind of compare to what they've looked like in the years past, just to kind of give you a little bit of example of how the pins have changed. So if you're gold level or above, next time you get on a Carnival cruise ship here in 2024, make sure you go down to the Pixels Photo Studio and collect your pin if you want one. Highly recommend you do not wait to the very last day of the cruise to go down and get that. They have occasionally run out of supplies on board the ship, so definitely recommend you go get it as quickly as possible if you collect them. Now, disembarkation on board a cruise ship, sometimes that can just be a really big pain in the backside. But Carnival Cruise Lines, well, they're testing a new disembarkation process, one that is going to go through the Hub app that they're hoping is going to smooth it out. They're hoping it's going to ease the crowding, ease the wait time, and streamline the whole process, getting people off of the ship quicker than they already do. So to make this happen, everything is going to go onto the Hub app. You're going to go onto the app and you are going to select your disembarkation time. And then on disembarkation day, you're going to receive a notification of when it is your turn to head down and disembark the ship. If you put your luggage out in order to have the crew take your luggage off of the ship, you will no longer have to go get your luggage tags. They usually have them there on a board. You try to rush up there, get the best number that you can for your luggage. Well, you're no longer going to have to do that. Instead, you're going to select your disembarkation time through the Hub app, and then the appropriate luggage tags will then be delivered to your stateroom, so you won't have to go looking for luggage tags. Now, for those guests that are diamond, platinum, purchase faster to the fund, or staying in a suite, this will not affect priority disembarkation. So there's going to be no changes to those programs. So if you have that priority disembarkation, this is not going to affect you. Now, right now, this is only in the test phase. So it is not fleet-wide. It is currently being tested on board the Carnival Spirit. It's being tested on the Carnival Conquest, the Carnival Dream, and the Carnival Elation. So just those 4 ships are currently testing it. Depending on how it works, if it's great, it's working awesomely, doing everything it's supposed to do, they're going to roll it out to the remainder of the fleet. Now the question is this really going to help the disembarkation process? Because yes, you can go on there and select a time that you want to get off the ship. Yes, they're going to send your luggage tags to your room, and then they're going to notify you when it's your turn to get off the ship. That all sounds really good in theory. Sounds like perfect. If I just sit here and wait until they call me and then I go down, I'm going to walk right off of the ship. But how many people are going to follow that? How many people are going to do the right thing and follow the times that they are given? To me, that is the biggest problem with disembarkation now, is everybody rushes down there. They clog up the stairwells, they clog up the hallways, they clog up the elevators, all in an effort to get off the ship as quickly as possible, which is what causes the chaos now. So I don't know that if you put it on an app and notify somebody of a time, if that means they're actually going to listen to it, or are they still going to do what they always do and rush the gangway? I really think the cruise lines need to start with enforcing what they say now. You are not allowed to congregate here. Don't allow people to congregate here. You are not allowed to block this. Do not allow people to block this. You form lines, you make people go to the end of the line, not cut in the middle, wait their turn to get off the ship. I think if they enforce that first, then maybe something digital will work. But if you don't correct, I think the basic problem, the basic issue that creates the chaos during disembarkation, I don't think putting something on an app is going to make all that much difference. All right, we have a new sanitation process coming out from Norwegian Cruise Lines, one that is going to affect some guests staying in the Haven Suites. So just make sure we're clear about this up front. This is for Haven Suite guests, particularly the ones that have the hot tubs or the whirlpools out on their balcony. Not the ones that are down on like the Lido deck that every passenger can get into, but these are for the ones that are on the balconies. So you're in one of these suites, you have the hot tub, the whirlpool out there. Nice thing is, if you want to, go out on your balcony, sit in your hot tub, maybe you want to watch the sunrise, maybe you want to watch the sunset, maybe you sit in there, have a nice glass of champagne, just kind of relax the day away. Well, it's going to be a little more difficult for you with these new sanitation processes because now you just can't use it whenever you want to use it. Because under these new sanitation requirements, the whirlpool, the hot tub, well, it has to be prepared. So it's basically going to be empty. You're going to have to let them know on the ship, hey, I am interested in using my hot tub. So they're going to have to come to your room. They're going to have to prepare it. They're going to have to fill it. And once it's up, it's full, it's ready to go, they say you'll be able to use it for about an hour. Then after that hour is up, they have to drain it and re-sanitize it. Now, Norwegian did notify the guests that are affected of this change. It says, in collaboration with the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, and in accordance with company protocols to maintain a healthy and safe environment, we have implemented a new sanitation process for all in-stateroom whirlpool spas on board. To use the whirlpool spa in your stateroom, kindly make a request for it to be prepared for your use with housekeeping. As a result of the enhanced sanitation process, the whirlpool spa will remain an optimal temperature for approximately 1 hour. Our onboard team must promptly drain the whirlpool spa and will complete a comprehensive sanitation process following each use. So you book a room because it's got a hot tub on the balcony, and now you have to go to housekeeping and say, I'd like to use the hot tub that's part of my balcony cabin that I booked, and now you can only use it for an hour before they drain it, clean it, re-sanitize it, and then I guess you could ask again and have them do it again, but this doesn't sound like it's a very comfortable and relaxing situation. Now, Norwegian is offering a little bit of compensation. These cabins are going to get a $500 non-refundable onboard credit for not being able to use the facilities in their own staterooms. Now, a couple questions in all this, well, they haven't been answered yet. So if you put in the request to housekeeping, how long is it going to take them to come and prepare your hot tub? What is the process to even get it up and running for that 1 hour? What if you want them to fill it at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning? Let's say you've been out late, enjoying the ship, listening to music, having a couple drinks, you get back to your room really late, and now you want to relax in your hot tub. Are you going to be able to get someone from housekeeping to come prepare it late at night? Then after you've enjoyed it for an hour, what is the process next? Because now you have to have someone come back in your cabin again, drain it, re-sanitize it. How long is that going to take? And how long before you would be able to use it again? These are a lot of currently unanswered questions. So if you're sailing on board a Norwegian cruise ship that's going through this hot tub issue, definitely let us know. Maybe tell us a little bit about the process to even use your own amenity. And finally, new taxes, port fee increases. That's something we've been talking about lately. We just talked about a proposal going on in the state of Quintana Roo in Mexico for a proposal to raise fees and taxes on cruise passengers down in Cozumel, Mexico, Costa Maya, up in Progreso. And well, one cruise line, I guess they've had enough. They've said, you know what? You want to put in an increase, that's your business, but we're not coming there anymore. So down in Melbourne, Australia, scheduled to go into effect on January the 1st, the port down there, Port Arthur, was raising the port rates from $28.50 per person up to $32 per person. And that has prompted Princess Cruise Lines to say that's fine, but starting in 2025, well, we are no longer going to sail from here. Now, Cunard Cruise Lines, also owned by Carnival Cruise Corporation, well, they are also pulling out all sailings beginning in 2025. But was it all about the tax increase? That's a little bit debatable. Cunard had announced at the beginning of the month, beginning of November, that they were intending to pull all of their sailings out of there in 2025. So it could be related, but it could also not. But for Princess, they are definitely pulling out over this increase. Now, Carnival Corporation's strategic officer did make the following statement: "Our economic benefit to Victoria is immense, and we appreciate the importance of maintaining our ports. To be expected to carry a 15% increase with no notice is unreasonable. We want to be in Melbourne and remain open to finding a long-term solution together with Ports Victoria and the Victorian government. However, the decision to home port these popular cruise lines in other markets is no small part due to the recent decision made by Ports Victoria to significantly and unexpectedly increase fees and charges." Now, the Port Authority and the local government down there, well, they're kind of giving a different version of the story. They're saying, look, this was just a teeny tiny little slight increase, and the only reason Princess is doing this is for, for commercial reasons. And they said that the spots that have been opened up by Princess leaving, well, those have already been filled, so it's really just not that much of a concern. And they also said, you know what? Well, they were just due for a price increase. They're profitable and they can afford to spend some more money. Let's get a bit of perspective here. This is a highly profitable industry that has not had any fee increases in 2.5 years. This is Carnival making a commercial decision, and other operators have well and truly filled the market. So the cruise lines, according to them, they're profitable. They're highly profitable. So you can give us some more money. This is what I've been saying from some of these other places that are increasing their taxes and increasing their fees. They are looking at these cruise lines essentially as cash cows. They are making money and we want a piece of it. Now, Princess Cruise Lines is owned by the Carnival Corporation, but the other brands under the Carnival Corporation, like your P&O Australia, Carnival Cruise Lines, Holland America, Costa, AIDA, they have not pulled out of Australia. They are still scheduled for sailings there in 2025. At least they are as of today. They have not said they're pulling out. They have not, indicated that they're going to be leaving Australia. Nothing of the sort. But maybe pulling Princess out was just to kind of see what they would do down there. How would they react if one of the cruise lines left Australia over these increases? And since it looks like the government down there is not willing to move on it, I guess it's always possible that Carnival could be willing to pull more of their brands out of there, because it sounds like they're not really going for the price increase, at least not this time. And that's going to be our cruise news video for today. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day. And like always, we will see you out on the high seas.